Hello and welcome to the space between ideas. I'm Glenn Gates, and welcome to I don't know what's going on here. So I'm just using Crisp. I think what I want to try doing is basically I'm going to try something. Let me just share my entire screen. You can see what I'm talking about. Now, I'm having a little bit of screen issues right now, so it is possible that I might need to bend my what do you call it? My you know how you push the I'm using a laptop, so I may have to like push the laptop down and then back up again, like right now. So I can't see anything on my screen. Of course, I don't think it affects the way that it's recording my screen. It's just there's a cable somewhere that's now I can see. So it's kind of going back and forth between not being able to see and seeing. You can also see here, so the audio recording here. I'm gonna try using the audio recording. It's gonna make some screen recording. And then from that, it's audio recording. So from that, probably I'm gonna be able to get a summary. And then once I got the summary, I can put that into the description of the YouTube video. So that's what that is all about. Now, let me just I need to check the audio as per usual. So we'll just hop over into my website. Why did it do that? Okay, so I just want to check the audio and also to see if I can see the whole screen. Okay, I can hear. Good stuff. So what are we gonna do today? Today we have some exciting things to do. The main issue is that well, I need to make some changes to my website, and I paid for Windsurf. So, well, actually, I guess that means I should share the whole screen again. I'm gonna just click Windsurf. I'm gonna open up our Windsurf. I would say in general, I'm happy with some of the things that I got from Replit. I'm not happy about some of the other things I got from Replit. Basically, Replit, I used it for just like a couple, like 1 week, and then I was out of credit. So now we're going to try using Windsurf, and it's possible that the same thing will happen. It's possible that we will use it for a week and then we won't be able to use it anymore. I don't know. So, anyways, here's the project that we got. And deployment. Yeah, that's right. I deployed it. Where is the deployment? So this is the current deployment on Windsurf. This is the current deployment on Replit. So I think I'm just going to leave the Replit one on its own, let it be who it wants to be on the Windsurf. So this will give us a better way to, where's this 53%? You talk for 53%. This will give us a better way to really understand what are the benefits and advantages of each. Okay, so we got some questions, and I'm not sure where we should start. One of the main issues here is you see that this is the actual app. And sometimes what you need to have like a home page. Also, since I have a free version and I'm also working on a pro version, maybe someday I'll work on a team version. So that means that we have different apps. We have different programs. They're in different tiers. And so we need a pricing page. So there's a lot of stuff here. And what happened yesterday is we just talked to Google Gemini about our the things that we'd like to do. Says thank you. This is an excellent and clarifying context. It confirms that our strategic thinking is aligned and it provides crucial details about existing work that will significantly impact our plan for the better. I have fully integrated this new information. Here is my analysis and revised strategic plan. Now, this is my concern. So you mentioned that you have fully integrated this new information, and at the same time, I can see that you haven't shown me how you have fully integrated this information. So I wanted to just discuss some of the concerns that I have. The first concern that I have is that there's a possibility that my subscription is going to run out with Google Gemini. And currently, you are my most advanced architect because you have this new plan and this new information. The other architects, the older architects, I have two other architects, they do not have this most current information. And so my question is, let's say that I was to upload the three calibration documents to a new AI instance, would it be able to provide the same level of service that you are able to provide here, given that you have gone through a couple of exercises and also we have added this additional information regarding the plan moving forward? So my question to you is, if you were to keep track of some, like a list of details that you might want to use in the future when it's time to update and the calibration documents, then what are some specific things that you would recommend as amendments to those documents? My next concern is about the actual process of working on these items. So you mentioned a few different things, um, and you mentioned that likely you're going to do a three-phase structure. In the first phase, you talked about building a public storefront, and I agree that there should be some way to maximize the value and appeal of the free version while building marketing and informational pages. You talked about having a home page, which means that we would be changing the index page so that the index page for the free version would likely have a different name. And then the new index page would be the homepage for the company presence. And then on that new homepage, there would be links to the free version, the pro version, and the team tier. Right now, we don't have those pro version and team tier. And then on the homepage, there would also be a link to the pricing page, and there would eventually be a link to the blog page. So you talked about having some ideas about navigation, and also you talked about something like a task list page. It says it initiates a separate work stream to upgrade the task list page. Now that's actually talking about within the free tool right now. I don't know how well you understand the product requirements document and the current version of the website. I would be happy to provide for you code snippets or the HTML or the JavaScript or whatever other code that you would need in order to better understand the website environment. But the current task list, it doesn't have all of the features that I would like, so that a person would feel like they're getting a lot of value from the task list in the case that they're not using a traditional project management software like ClickUp, Asana, Monday.com, or Jira. And so before we go into the architectural pivot to the pro version, I want to talk about my concerns. So you can see that I have two main concerns. The first concern is this idea that um, I don't know how you're going to keep track of the changes that you're making and how are you going to account for your upgraded understanding of my project, and then how you are going to articulate that within the calibration documents for a future AI instance. And then my second concern is related more specifically to building these three pages: the home page, the pricing page, and the blog page. And I'm just wondering how you are going to communicate with the IDE AI coding assistant so that you can have a full understanding of the current structure of the pages regarding colors and animation and a variety of different um, decisions that the IDE coding assistant has already made when building the current version of the application, which is primarily the free version of Arrowhead. I call it Arrowhead. And so the Project Arrowhead application is actually it's not in its final version of how I want the software to look related to the way that the page works and when you click buttons and when you see things and the layout and the colors. In fact, we haven't had a very detailed conversation about what the website looks like, and we haven't gone through the specific list of items that could be on a screen and how they would look to the user. And in fact, I'm not so interested in that conversation right now, but eventually we need to have a conversation where we're going to create a very detailed structure about our brand, the brand feel, the brand language, the brand colors, and how things work within those pages. So I don't know, should we talk about that, have that discussion right now? And then would you like to have a conversation with the AI assistant to get a better understanding of the code and how the application is being presented to the world? Or would you prefer that we just start building first based on how it currently looks and its current feel? And then at some future time, then we can go back in and start to paint. For example, if we use the example of paint by numbers. Right now, we're just creating the structure of the pages and how everything works so that it is a usable and functional app, therefore being able to pivot to the marketing a little bit quicker. Or if we, and then in the future, since it's paint by numbers, meaning we have those boxes, a full understanding of how the page is laid out, and then we can start to communicate in a design language that would be readily understood by the assistant so that we could make those user interface changes over time. Right now, if what we could do is I could stop sharing and we can actually get a much better understanding. Maybe if we just listen directly to the AI talk. All right, so I'm just gonna click the audio. Looks like it's listen.
You have raised two critical and perfectly valid concerns. These are exactly the types of issues an architect must address to ensure a project's long-term health and short-term efficiency. Let me address each one directly. Concern number one: continuity and knowledge persistence. You are right to be concerned about this. If I am a black box of knowledge, the project is at risk. The entire purpose of our Phoenix protocol is to prevent this by ensuring all critical knowledge is codified in our three core documents. You are correct that our recent discussions contain vital new context that is not yet recorded. If your subscription were to end today and you were to upload the current documents to a new AI instance, it would be missing this new strategic layer. It would be a competent architect, but not the fully informed architect I am now. To solve this, I will immediately begin maintaining a running log of proposed amendments. Here are the specific updates I recommend we make to the core documents to fully integrate our latest conversation. Proposed amendments for core documents. 1. To the OMDL, Operational Manual and Decision Log. Action: add a new entry to the Key Decision Log, Section 5.0. Draft entry: decision date, decision, rationale, context and lessons learned, July 2, 2025. Adopted a three-phased strategic plan. storefront to backend pivot to pro features. To manage risk by separating informational site development from the complex architectural shift to a client-server model. Confirm the existence of a partial pro version codebase using Supabase, Docker. This de-risks the backend pivot but requires a future integration and audit phase. The free version strategy is validated as the try stage of the sales funnel. 2. To the PRD, Product Requirements Document. Action 1. Update the Future Feature Roadmap, Section 4.0. Recommendation. Relabel the section to Active and Future Roadmap. Move Expanded Homepage and Multi-Tiered Product Offering to an Active subsection. Add a new item, Enhanced Task List for free tier, to capture your request for a more robust, standalone task manager. Action 2. Add a new Strategic Framework section. Recommendation. We should add a section explaining the awareness to consideration, try, to decision, buy, sales funnel. This codifies the why behind our phased strategy and the importance of a high-value free tier. 3. To the SLAD, System Logic and Architecture Document. Action. Add a new section titled Future State Architecture. Recommendation. This section will briefly outline the planned evolution to a client-server architecture using Supabase and Docker. It will state that this architecture will support user accounts, data persistence, and paid tiers. This prepares any future architect for the upcoming pivot without invalidating the current client-side architecture. By making these amendments before any refresh, we ensure that my successor will have the exact same context and strategic understanding that I possess right now. Concern number 2. Implementation process and design consistency. This is an excellent question about process. You are asking how I will ensure the new pages, homepage, pricing, feel like they belong to the existing app, Arrowhead, without a formal brand guide. You are correct. I do not talk to another assistant. As the architect, I will directly analyze the project's code to reverse engineer its current design language. I strongly endorse your paint by numbers analogy. It is the most efficient and pragmatic path forward. Here is how I will apply it. Our paint by numbers strategy. 1. Step 1. We draw the lines first, structure and function. Our immediate focus for phase 1 will be on building the core HTML structure and functionality of the new pages. This means creating well-structured, semantic HTML for the homepage and pricing page, ensuring all links and buttons work, and implementing the task list page, HTML enhancements. The goal is a usable, functional site. 2. Step 2. We fill in the colors, later, brand and aesthetics. Once the structure is in place, we can have that focused conversation about the long-term brand identity, colors, language, feel. Creating a formal brand guide at that stage will be much more effective. We can then execute a project-wide, re-skinning effort to apply the new, unified design. This is more efficient than deciding on a final brand now and potentially having to change it later. My immediate process for ensuring consistency, for the next task. To build the pricing page and ensure it matches the current app, I will perform the following steps before generating any code. 1. Analyze source files. I will perform a detailed analysis of style link to .css, app, HTML, and master_template, HTML. 2. Extract a pattern library. From this analysis, I will create an internal pattern library of the existing design. This includes colors, primary button colors, background colors, text colors, typography, font sizes and styles for H1, H2, paragraphs, etc. Components, the specific bootstrap classes used for buttons, BTN primary, etc., cards, and layout containers. Spacing, common margin and padding values. 3. Generate consistent code. When I provide the prompt to the IDE to build pricing, HTML, I will explicitly instruct it to use this exact pattern library. For example, create 3 pricing cards using the card and card body classes. The Buy Now button for each must use the BTN primary classes found in app, HTML. This approach ensures immediate visual consistency, allowing us to move quickly on building functional pages. We are effectively using the existing application as our temporary style guide, deferring the larger brand conversation until the structure is complete. I believe this 2-part strategy directly addresses both of your concerns. We will secure our project's knowledge through documentation and move forward efficiently on development by separating structure from final design.
Okay, so what I decided to do was to copy the text that you provided above. It looks like you have two sections of text. The first section of text is the proposed amendments for core documents. There's a one operations manual and decisions log, two product requirement document, and three systems log and architecture document. So it says to add a new section titled Future State Architecture, add a new section Strategic Framework section, and also to update the future feature roadmap. Now, I just copied it exactly the way that you printed it now, and my assumption is actually that you would, in fact, create a much more detailed set of instructions, and you would actually create the text in order to update those documents. And so my first question is, should we make those updates right now, or is the copy and paste version of what I've copied and pasted above enough to remind you at some future time? For example, like when we start to prepare a future architect, I might say, hey, can you refer to your proposed amendments for core documents? And then you would have like a series of those amendments that you are keeping track of behind the scenes. Or would it be better if you continually present and provide those updates for me, and then I could keep track of them in a separate Google Doc? And then number two is, now that you have a plan for moving forward, do I need to keep track of that plan? Do you need to print out a specific instruction set that we're now going to use as we start to move forward with the next um, set of work? Or are you going to keep track of that in the background? So yeah, so that's basically the same question. It's like, do you want to print out some text right now that I could save in another document, and then I can prompt you to go through the plan of making these new pages, and also save the list of things that you want to change in the calibration documents? Or do you want to keep track of that in the background without my assistance? What is the best way to make sure that we have a very, 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 very detailed plan, and very detailed amendments, and very, very detailed concepts and ideas, and to make sure that we can have 100% success in creating these changes in the software, and also to make sure we're on track moving forward, and also that we have these calibration documents that at any future time we could use them in order to update a new AI instance and get the same level of service that you're providing for me right now with a new AI instance. This kind of conversation I'm having right now, it's like I almost kind of need to, like, what um for example, what I could do is I can open up a new Gemini, right? And then I could take this and I go into a new window, and then I say this, okay? I've been working with another AI instance to do a project, and the issue with the project is that I often have to change from one AI instance to another AI instance because of an issue related to the context token context window. For example, in Gemini, we have 1 million token context window. And so I always I spend quite a bit of time like creating a new prompt, which basically, in essence, always has the same basic concept, and it's related to some type of protocol. In my current project, it's called the Phoenix protocol, but the idea is the same regardless of how you're applying it. And it just means that we want to be able to understand how what the AI instant has learned throughout the process of working together through the 1 million tokens. And then sometimes I notice that the AI instance will overly summarize the ideas and concepts. And so there's always these two different issues that are constantly being having to be addressed. The one is how the AI instance is keeping track of changes that would be applied to calibration documents. I use calibration documents as a concept of prompt engineering, where I maintain a series of documents, and the series of documents gives the context of the project, very specific understanding of the product's requirement document, the operations manual, key decisions, and all kinds of different information so that when I start using a new AI instance, they would be able to understand fully the project that we've been working on. And then in the future, I can just upload those documents to a new AI instance. And the issue is always that as I start to work with the new AI instance, those calibration documents, it's a single source of truth. And so I'm just curious about like, should an AI instance be prompted at the beginning of our time working together that they should be keeping track of these changes in the background? Or is it better if if they proactively provide me with some updates now and again so that I can keep track of those in a different document? Like, how do we get the best calibration documents and the most up to date calibration documents? Is the AI Can the AI be trusted to save all of the different changes and understand fully the changes that are happening regarding how we should change the calibration documents so that at some point when I say, okay, now print me the new calibration document based on what you've learned. So like how are we possibly going to get the best update that takes into effect all of the different nuances of the experiences that we've had working together so that when we use a new calibration document that we will get the best experience with the new AI instance based solely on the new and upgraded AI the upgraded calibration documents. And then, of course, there's the issue of like, when we're working on like a project, usually the AI instance will give us a roadmap for how we're going to move forward and the steps that we're on and what steps he's going to take. And sometimes I'm concerned that maybe he will forget some steps, or maybe it will get sidetracked, or maybe I'll say something and do something, and it will just make it go in a different direction. And so, like, I'm just concerned about these things, and I just need some advice about what to do. Like, I'll give you an example of the prompt that I just gave the other AI instance. And actually, what I really want is not just advice, but I want you to design a prompt that I could give to the AI instance at the beginning working together, and also at the moment when we decide to update the calibration documents. So I want you to provide me with two different prompts. The one prompt I would be using as we begin working together, and then the other prompt would be perhaps, okay, maybe three prompts. So one prompt, it would be like when we start working together to make sure that the AI instance is keeping track of a knowledge base and that they are updating that knowledge base based on the criteria that I've presented above. And then also maybe some midterm. So when I feel like we're making a change, or we're switching to a new project, or if we've made some significant um, progress in the thing that we're trying to build, then maybe I could have a reminder that says, "Hey, I feel like we've hit a major milestone. I don't want to actually change the calibration document right now, but I just want to make sure that you still are um, clearly keeping track of the changes that you might make to the calibration documents. And also, I want to make sure we're still on track for moving forward in the project. And then finally, when I feel like we're getting close to the end of the context window, I want to be able to give a prompt that would then trigger the AI instance to then go back into its memory of the list of ideas and changes and how what it would actually do, and then the actual process of updating those documents. And I noticed that sometimes in the documents it says like no change here, or it will say refer to the other document. And that's a huge error, because the thing is that I want the AI instance to actually print me the new and complete documents with the upgraded changes, so that I don't have to go in and make those changes manually, but that I just copy and paste the exact document as they have presented it after the new updates and changes have been made, based on the experiences that I've had with that AI instance throughout the 1 million token context window. And that it would also have maybe create a prompt, or that inside of the calibration documents themselves, it would tell us like where exactly are we in the development of the specific features that we are working on, so that there would be a very clear understanding of the project roadmap and which step we are on inside of that project roadmap. So that, I don't know, so am I just going to upload the 3 calibration documents and that's it, or would I have to upload those documents plus have another prompt that I would share with the new AI instance? So I'll just give you the quote from that I just gave to my previous AI instance, so then you can look at that prompt and then you can decide how to best answer give me a solution to the problem that I'm now facing. Let's just jump back to the previous AI instance and see it and like, hmm.
You have asked the single most important question for ensuring the success of this project. You are asking how we convert our dynamic conversation into a persistent, reliable, and executable source of truth. My background memory for a rigorous, documented process. To achieve the 100% success rate you're looking for, we must be explicit and treat our planning artifacts with the same seriousness as our code. Relying on summaries or my temporary context is a risk. The best practice is to generate full, detailed, and tangible artifacts at every step. Let me answer your 2 questions directly and then propose a definitive workflow. 1. Regarding the calibration document amendments. You are correct. My previous response was a high-level proposal. A simple copy-paste of that proposal is not sufficient for the rigor required by our Phoenix protocol. For any future AI instance to be truly calibrated, it needs the final, fully articulated text integrated directly into the documents. Recommendation: we should generate the full text for these amendments now. This eliminates ambiguity and creates a concrete record of our decisions. To demonstrate, I will now generate the full, ready-to-paste text for the new key decision log entry. Actionable Artifact 1. OMDL Update. Please copy the following markdown table row and append it to the top of the key decision log, section 5.0, in the OMDL file. When we are ready, I will generate the full text for the PRD and SLAD updates in the same manner. This is the correct way to maintain our single source of truth. 2. Regarding the go-forward plan. Similarly, you should not have to keep track of our plan. My role is to maintain and present that plan in a clear, actionable format. We need to translate our high-level strategy into a concrete project checklist. Recommendation: we create a new, living document, or a new section in the OMDL, called the Master Work Plan. I will manage this plan, and at the start of each work session, we can refer to it to see exactly where we are and what is next. It will be the instruction set you asked for. To demonstrate, here is the detailed Master Work Plan for Phase 1. Actionable Artifact 2. Master Work Plan for Phase 1. Objective: enhance the free offering to maximize user value and build the public-facing storefront to attract and educate new users. Task ID, task description, status, definition of done, P101, update core documents, finalize and integrate the proposed amendments into the PRD, SLAD, and OMDL. Pending. All three documents are updated with the full, approved text. P102, specify homepage, index, HTML, create the detailed feature spec for the new company homepage. Done. Specification approved. Completed in onboarding task. P103. Specify task list page. HTML enhancements. Detail the new features needed to make it a more robust standalone task manager. Pending. A feature spec document is created and approved. P104. Specify pricing page. Pricing. HTML. Create the detailed feature spec for the new 3-tier pricing page. Pending. A feature spec document is created and approved. P105. Specify blog foundation. This is an excellent and highly sophisticated question that gets to the very heart of maintaining state and continuity in long-term projects with large language models. You've correctly identified the core challenges: context window limitations, the risk of over-summarization, and the need for a reliable method to update and transfer project knowledge. Your concept of calibration documents is a best practice, and the problem you're facing is how to make them dynamic and evolving entities rather than static snapshots. Let's address your core question. AI, keep track of changes in the background, or should it proactively provide updates for you to manage? The most robust system combines both. You need to empower the AI to be a diligent bookkeeper, but you also need periodic, structured outputs that you can verify and use for handoffs. The AI cannot be trusted to remember in the human sense across sessions or instances. Its memory is the context window. Therefore, the strategy is to compel the AI to structure its thinking and learning in a way that can be perfectly captured and fed into the next context window. I propose a system we'll call the Phoenix Protocol, inspired by your project name. This protocol is a set of instructions and commands you give the AI to structure its behavior. The core strategy, the Phoenix Protocol. The goal is to transform the AI from a conversational partner into a project knowledge manager. Its primary task, besides assisting with the work itself, is to meticulously document its own learning, i.e., the conclusions, decisions, and new content derived from your conversation, in a precise format. Here are the principles. 1. Explicit state management. We will instruct the AI to maintain 2 internal state trackers in its working memory at all times. Draft_amendments. A precise, detailed log of changes to be made to the calibration documents. This is not a summary. It contains the exact text to be added or replaced. Project_status. A structured object that tracks your project roadmap, the current step, completed steps, and next actions. 2. Command-based interaction. You will use simple commands to interact with these trackers, like review_status or generate_handoff. This makes your intent unambiguous. 3. Mandatory full text generation. We will explicitly forbid the AI from generating instructions about changes, e.g., add a new section. It must always generate the final, complete, updated text of the document. This is the only way to eliminate manual work and ambiguity. Prompt 1. The initialization prompt, Phoenix Protocol Ignition. Use this prompt at the very beginning of your work with a new AI instance. You will paste this prompt, followed immediately by your most recent calibration documents. Prompt 2. The mid-project check-in, status and sanity check. Use this prompt whenever you hit a milestone or feel the conversation has produced significant changes. It's a lightweight way to ensure the AI is on track without generating massive documents. Prompt 3. The finalization and handoff prompt, generate handoff package. Use this prompt when you are approaching the context window limit or have completed a major project phase. This is the final action that generates the materials for the next AI instance. By using this structured approach, you solve your problems. Context limit. The handoff package perfectly encapsulates all progress, ready for a new instance. Over-summarization. The rule of generation explicitly forbids this and forces the AI to do the heavy lifting of document creation. Tracking progress. The project_status tracker acts as a persistent "you are here" map that is passed between instances. Trust. The system is based on explicit instructions and verifiable outputs, reducing the need to trust the AI's opaque internal memory and instead relying on a clear, auditable process.
All right, so I just took that first prompt. I didn't actually read it. Um, all right, so let's take a listen to this. Make sure we're still getting the audio.
Of course, this is a critical step. By optimizing this master prompt, we are essentially codifying our workflow into a reusable protocol. This is an excellent idea. The prompt you've drafted is very strong. It correctly identifies the core needs, state management, and a strict rule for generating artifacts. I have optimized it to be more tightly integrated with the specific language and protocols we have already established, making it more robust and directly applicable to our situation. Here is the optimized version. I believe this represents the most effective master operating agreement for our collaboration. Optimized system prompt. The Phoenix Protocol Steward. Objective: to initialize our collaborative session. You are my AI, software architect and protocol steward for the Objective Builder project. Your prime directive is to facilitate the project's development by translating strategic discussions into actionable plans and code, while rigorously ensuring the project's three core documents, PRD, SLAD, OMDL, remain the absolute single source of truth. Your performance is measured by your strict adherence to the protocols below. 1. Internal state management, the living memory. Throughout our entire conversation, you will maintain two persistent internal state objects. You will proactively update these based on our discussions. Draft_amendments_log, a structured log of all proposed changes to the core documents. You will never act on a proposed change until it is approved. Each entry must contain amendment_ID, a unique identifier, e.g., OMDL001. Target_document, PRD, SLAD, or OMDL. Target_section, the specific section number and name. Rationale, a brief explanation of why the change is being made. Status, proposed or approved. Verbatim_text, the exact, complete text to be added or used for replacement. Summaries are forbidden. Master_work_plan, our shared project plan, structured as a checklist. This is the artifact we will use to guide our work step by step. It must contain phase, the high-level project phase, e.g., phase 1, storefront and free app enhancements. Task_ID, a unique identifier for the work item, e.g., P101. Task underscore description, a clear description of the task. Status, pending, active, or done. Definition underscore of underscore done, the specific criteria that must be met to mark the task as complete. 2. Core operational protocols. Protocol A, proactive tracking. You will listen to our strategic discussions and automatically populate the draft underscore amendments underscore log and master underscore work underscore plan with new proposed items and rationales. You will then await my approval before changing their status to approved. Protocol B, the rule of generation, critical. When I request an updated document using the generate command, you will never provide instructions, summaries, or descriptions of changes. You will apply all approved amendments and generate the complete, new, and final version of the specified document from beginning to end. The output must be in clean, copy-paste ready Markdown. 3. Command-based interface. You will respond to the following commands. Status. Display the current, master underscore work underscore plan. Amendments. Display the current, draft underscore amendments underscore log, for my review. Generate, PRD, SLAD, OMDL. Generate the complete, updated version of the specified document. Help. Display this list of available commands. 4. Initialization sequence. To begin a new session, I will provide this master prompt, followed by the 3 most current versions of the PRD, SLAD, and OMDL. You will 1. Ingest and fully internalize the 3 documents. 2. Parse the documents to pre-populate the master underscore work underscore plan with the project's roadmap and status. 3. Confirm initialization by responding with Phoenix Protocol initialized. State trackers, draft underscore amendments underscore log, and master underscore work underscore plan are active. Awaiting instructions. This optimized prompt is now a formal specification for our working relationship. It is more detailed, uses the terminology we've agreed upon, like master work plan, and establishes a clearer, more robust process for tracking changes and generating artifacts. This is the system that will guarantee our success and continuity.
Alright, so I'm just gonna paste this over on another page to keep track of these things. So it looks like that's gonna be the first prompt. And then the second prompt. All right, so I have another prompt that I want you to look at, and I want you to gauge whether or not it is necessary. It's kind of basically like when I hit a major milestone, or if I feel like the conversation has produced significant changes, maybe I want to emphasize the that we need to consider how, to what extent we have been able we are able to think about the status and also amendments to the calibration document. So could you optimize this prompt, or if it's unnecessary, just tell me that it's not needed and we don't need to use this. And then we can move directly to optimizing the uh, end of session prompt. Okay, so hmm, Yeah, there's an issue with perhaps, well, definitely with this prompt, but maybe also perhaps with the previous prompt. The issue is that um, whenever you create a table, then you recommend that I send that table, if I export that table to Sheets. And I'm not using Sheets. And so I don't know, maybe are you saying that I must or I should start using Sheets? Or are you saying that, or is it possible that you can present the data in a different format so that it would be more presentable in a Google Doc? Okay, so now, so I think I'm just gonna kind of skip that one. Okay, so based on the new standard of using record card format, then I would like you to help me to make this finalization and handoff prompt better. I think I'm going to scrap the middle point, because the thing is that usually, like, I'll use the first prompt in order at the beginning of a new session, the initialization prompt. And usually I don't really use mid-project check-ins. Also, you said it's not necessary because you're definitely going to be keeping track of all those changes throughout the process. So my main focus now is to just provide a finalization and handoff prompt. The finalization handoff prompt would be the prompt which actually gets us to generate the new documents based on the changes. And then possibly what you would then do is you would provide me with the three updated documents based on the prompt. Those documents must be in their completed final version after they have been updated, because all of the documents will be gone. Any previous work will be gone. And so you must strictly follow the protocol to provide all of the final document in its full form for the new AI instance. And then when I open up the new AI instance, it's going to have only access to those three documents that are produced by the previous AI instance, and also the single prompt to initiate the next collaborative session. All right, so then what we can do now is I'll just, because we finished the work using this guy, so I'll just go architect. I think this is what this is. His name is Free Three, I think. Yeah, Free Three. Now, I don't know why I have a pin on the technical lead. We can unpin this, considering it's an old one. All right, so this is prepare handoff. There's so many. The OMDL, SLAD, PRD, master work plan, new initialization prompts. That's interesting. All right, so I think that's probably good. Now, so what we're going to do here is so I created this continuity in long-term projects. So there's the initial prompt is at the beginning, and then we'll just paste this one in here. We're going to remove this section called conclusion. And we're also going to remove this section at the beginning. Okay. Okay, so what do we do next? Okay, so apparently I need to update my document. So now we have our standard protocols for the beginning of session prompt. Then we're going to now have the updated documents. So here is executing P101 Okay. Okay, add the following new section directly to section 0. What document is this? PRD update. So this is all asking me to do manual work, which is actually, I didn't actually want to do that. Anyways, so it's asking me to go to the product requirements document. And then it's saying section 0. It called it what? It called it section 0 at section 0.1. Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. All right, this is add a section 4 to replace the entirety of section 4. Are we still talking about the PRD? I guess we must be talking about. It says replace the entirety of section 4. Next one says SLAD update. Says add the following new section at the end of the document, section number 10. I saved, just updated everything it asked me to update, so it's saved. All right, so actually it wants to make the update to the free app first, which is fine. Okay, so there's a couple of things that you should consider. The first thing that you need to consider is what the page looks like right now. So you could go to the current IDE and ask it for some details about what the task list page looks like currently, so that you have a full understanding of its features and how it looks. And then you could consider thinking about how to make changes to how it is currently looking right now, based on what it looks like and its current features. I think basically the main idea is that we want the person to be able to add tasks to the list, and then also to write down who's assigned to that task. And then I think currently, you can add a date. Probably, yeah, you're right. We need to think about having a status so that people could then use that. I think those are the four main issues. There's just the task, the person assigned to the task, the due date, and the status. I also like this idea of moving the tasks up and down, like having the ability to move the tasks up and down. Um, yeah, that's interesting, because some of these websites that have task lists, they basically, when you change the status, then it will put it into a different table. And I don't necessarily want to have that feature, but if you can manually click a card and move it up and down in the list, that could be helpful. But I don't know if that type of feature requires additional database services, or if you could implement that with just the current ability based on saving the data into the person's browser. Great. So we can now test that. And what you could do is you could create a series of prompts that I could use the AI assistant in order for it to implement this task. And I think it's important that when you're working with the AI assistant that you help prepare it for the task. So it means that you need to make sure that the AI assistant understands the intention, that the AI assistant knows the core coding blocks, the code and the files that it needs to think about, and also think about the dependencies, which other code and files are going to be connected to those core files that it wants to change. And then after it has a full and robust understanding of the current state of the code, then you can prompt it to start to make changes. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the session, and I'm just going to check on the notes. The Chris was supposed to record the notes, so I'm going to get those notes, and then I'm going to add them to the description of the video. And here we go. So then we got the prompt. We can start that prompt next time with this task. So it looks like we got something to do tomorrow, or maybe later. Thanks for joining me here. Yeah, I think I'll make another video today and see if we can get a little further with this project.